What's going on, Flicks Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review, this time for 2023's Thanksgiving. Now, right off the bat, I know I'm a little late. This did come out on digital last month in December of 2023, and it did come out in theaters in November of 2023, but I'm barely catching it on digital. And before I tell you why I kind of held off and why I'm on the late train with this one, make sure to hit that big thumbs up. Consider subscribing today for more content like this. Okay, so the reason why I held off on this movie was I saw all the actors involved and I was like, man, this might be a very formulaic Hollywood cookie cutter PG-13 type of slasher movie that we get from Mr. Eli Roth. Now, I'll be honest, I really do love Eli Roth. When I did hear that this was coming to fruition, I was like, yes, we're getting what possibly could come from these grindhouse fake trailers, which did birth Machete. Let's not forget about that. But all the other trailers inserted into the movie before these two movies that we got back in 2007 for Grindhouse. If you guys have no clue what I'm talking about, please Google it. I'm not going to explain the time in 2007 when this was a big deal for horror fans. But other than Machete, I was like, you know what? Thanksgiving, don't. These look like really, really cool fake trailers that could be possibly full-length feature movies. And before I get into all the information and my thoughts on Thanksgiving from 2023, I'm going to let you guys know this is a complete spoiler-free review. If you guys have not seen the movie and want to get my thoughts on it, don't worry, I'm going to give you guys all the good, the bad, the ugly, and there was a lot of gory ugliness going on in this movie, and I do plan to do a spoiler review on this at a later date. Alright, so let's get all the behind the scenes stuff out of the way. So this was written by Jeff Rendell and Eli Roth. Now, Jeff Rendell also helped out on that short trailer, or that short film, because it really was the short film, man. I mean, we got introduced to something that didn't even exist. It wasn't going to exist. And now that I've finished this real movie of Thanksgiving, I'll compare and contrast it along the way and what scenes they took, because they definitely took some of the scenes that were from that original Grindhouse style trailer and definitely implemented it in scenes into this movie, which are in the trailer itself. It's no spoiler. They're actually inserted in the trailer. That made me go, that happened in the original back in 2007. And once again, it's hard to even get so damn meta with this, because 2007, they're making a trailer that looks like 1980 or 1978, something like that. Really grainy footage. I'll put it up here. But I like that stuff. I really like that Texas Chainsaw, really shot on film, gritty, grungy, unfiltered, and raw. And that's another reason why I was like, in 2023, this ain't never gonna work. But then I started to really think, when it started to soak in that this was coming to fruition, would a Grindhouse really work in 2023 on the big screen for Gen X or Gen Alpha, whatever this new generation is now that we're in? And I came to the conclusion, no. You really can't do it like that. Not if you're trying to sell tickets. Remember, Hollyweird is a business, man. But I saw that it was on digital. I really want to revamp for 2024 my horror podcast with my buddy Q, and I wanted something to talk about that was new and possibly fresh. And this is where we're at. Thanksgiving 2023. So, this movie is also directed by Eli Roth, who did some of my favorites. Cabin Fever, which I was introduced to, which was a good directorial debut from him. Hitting me and hitting it out of the park with Hostel and Hostel 2. I thought those movies were insane. It made me never want to travel to a European country ever in my life. The very underrated Green Inferno. I'm not gonna lie, Green Inferno is my shit. I love that. He actually placed his wife in the forefront. I think it's actually his ex-wife now, but his former wife in the forefront of that movie. I thought she did a great job, and the subject nature is horrific. Once again, did it make me want to travel to the Amazon anytime soon? And the very underrated Knock Knock. A lot of these movies that people think are subpar, go back to them and watch them. I think they're pretty good flicks. And the quick synopsis for Thanksgiving is: after a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. Okay, so the fact that this movie takes place in modern day as opposed to, once again, I hate to keep reiterating myself, but going back to that grindhouse style. As I started watching this and things started happening, yes, there's a crazy opening scene without giving any spoilers. That is a Black Friday sale that no longer exists. I mean, Black Friday has not existed in this country for maybe about 4 years. At least we're not talking about some real shit where killer stampedes are happening at a Walmart as soon as they raise the gates. That's not happening anymore. Everything is bought online. Everything is digital now. So we probably will never see that again in our life. But I'll just say that was a very intense scene. We had some good kills in that scene, and I thought it was a great nod at American consumerism. Now, as time started to progress, we get this 1 year later, once again, a shout out nod to all of these slasher movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer, a year later. Things happen, right? I mean, it's very formulaic in that sense, but once again, as I started watching this and the movie just started to progress, the runtime and everything in between, I was like, I think Eli Roth wanted to make this movie like a 90s slasher. I don't think he was trying to reinvent the wheel. And once I started to figure that out, I really sat back and I had an amazing time with this movie. So even though they threw at us a lot of dumb characters, mainly a lot of dumb jock characters, the only real one that kind of stuck as far as like, oh, don't die, was the final girl for me. And she did a good job in this movie. I know this movie advertises Addison Rae on the poster, and she does have a cameo. She is one of the friends, and she actually did good in this movie too. So I'm not gonna shit on the younger cast too much, even though I'm an old head now. I'm considered an old head. How did I get here? But the younger generation of cast, they definitely fit of what I thought Eli Roth wanted them to do on screen other than die. Okay, now the reason why I'm so ecstatic and why I wanted to review this movie in 2024, these kills are amazing. Hats off to you, Mr. Eli Roth. You are back, sir. These kills are great. I mean, they're not as menacing as a Hostel. They're very quick and to the point. And once again, it's coming from a Pilgrim slasher, which I've mentioned this before. I would love to see more slashers in 2024 with scarier mask. The Pilgrim mask is not scary, but the way the guy was walking, his mannerisms, the fact that he was not even necessarily a bigger guy, he looked very thin. I mean, Snoop Dogg could have been underneath that mask, and the presence and mannerisms once again, and the weapon choice too, the axe and the pitchfork that we got along the way, it still led to some scary scenes. But going back to these kills, man, I don't know if I was watching an unrated version or what. There's no way that people were not watching this in theaters back in November and were not queasing. Like, even for me, a lot of these, when skin's getting ripped off, you know, a lot of flesh getting torn apart, skin bubbling from being burned, people getting stabbed left and right, heads being lopped off, bodies being lopped in half. This movie, at times, the CGI definitely felt a little bit like a Final Destination movie. And I'm talking about like the later Final Destination movies when they stopped giving a shit. And you start to think like, that can't happen. Like, how can gravity cut somebody in half like that? Like, it just wouldn't happen. We had to rewind it a couple of times and we're like, wait a minute, I still don't see how that could happen. But once again, I don't think Eli Roth wanted you to think that this was a logical movie whatsoever. So I just kept having fun once I realized and started to say, brain, shut off. Because at my core for horror, I love stories like this, man. I mean, of course it's going to be a revenge cookie cutter type of story and tie into the beginning of the movie because someone did something and wronged someone. That's totally fine. By the end of this movie, I didn't need no damn explanation. I knew there was going to be a cliffhanger. I knew this was a franchise that definitely had legs. If they wanted to, this could be like a Saw thing where they just make a movie every single year. I didn't look at the budget. I'm sure it's extremely low budget, but once again, this is a fun slasher movie. They shoehorned some good cameos in there from Gina Gershon. I saw freaking Tim Dillon in there, which I was like rooting when I saw him on the screen. I was like, yes, man. By the way, he has an awesome scene other than a cameo. I'm not gonna give you guys the spoiler, but I was like, Eli Roth must be a fan of comedians, man, because that dude is my dude. Also, we get a good and different performance from Patrick Dempsey, who was named Sexiest Man Alive, I believe, twice, my wife said. And I'm like, You watch him in this movie and you're like, how did he get Sexiest Man Alive? But okay, he's a good actor. He's still a damn good actor, and I liked him in this movie. So long story short, because I don't even want to make this review too long, I just wanted to spout out afterthoughts from watching the movie off my couch right now. If you guys are into fun, stupid horror gore, check out Thanksgiving Today. I really hope this is getting a 4K release. I looked it up. I don't think it is. If I have to buy this from another country that's willing to take a chance on horror, I definitely will, because Blu-ray is great. But you know what? Spend a little more, companies. Give us a solid 4K, give us some good features, give us Dolby Vision, all that good crispiness, and make us want to reach on our shelves to rewatch this movie, because I definitely will be showing this to more people that have not seen this movie and to people that are into horror movies. And that being said, I think I'm going to give Thanksgiving from 2023 a solid 4 out of 5. All right, Flix Talkers, what did you think of Thanksgiving? You guys let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Please, no spoilers, guys, to those that have not seen the movie. If you guys did appreciate my thoughts and want to show love to the channel, make sure to hit that big thumbs up and consider subscribing today for more reviews like this, reactions, and much, much more. All right, Flix Talkers, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gone. Peace.